opening graphic states, this is Across America Good News Edition. My name is Chip Brewster. I'm a national digital host for Nexstar Media. On this program, we take a look at some of the good news from the week that was from, again, as the name implies, across America. More specifically, across our more than 115 local newsrooms. What's really cool about this show, about these stories, is that unless you're watching this program or the local Nexstar station that's making it, you are more than likely never going to see this story. This is unique, authentic stories gathered and told by our journalists in those local newsrooms. And so I get to scour the company and bring together 6 to 10 of those every week here on this program. What are some of the ones that we're going to feature on this week's episode? Did you know you can have kangaroos as a pet in one state? This is what happens when one gets out. We celebrate the New York Bagel, a book returned well past a due date. That gentleman makes a killer hat. You'll learn more. And then an heirloom returned after long lost time, and a gentleman celebrating quite the birthday, World War II veteran. And I'll put it this way, he's already hit the century mark. So we get to celebrate him and his service in that story. Before we get to those, though, we are going to begin with a story out of our Charlotte, North Carolina station, WJZY, about a group of monks. So this is a story that began in Fort Worth, Texas, and we're really only catching them along the way in a very long journey.
It's a sight that is almost cinematic. The Buddhist monks take drastic steps to match what they believe are drastic times.
The main focus point right now is for all of us to have peace.
The Walk for Peace began in Fort Worth, Texas, and will end at the nation's capital. Along the way, they stop in places like Saluda, South Carolina.
It's an honor for them to walk through our small town.
Folks gathered outside the county courthouse to catch a glimpse of the group many have been tracking on social media.
I like the fact that they're walking for peace.
Many in this crowd are here out of curiosity. Others are empowered to find a message of hope for humanity.
Peace has been bloomed. And it's not yet flourished throughout this country and the world yet. But I truly believe one day it will.
For people who aren't here today, you can feel the love in the air. You can feel it.
All of us here can just do one thing for me. To be mindful every day.
The Venerable Bhikkhu Panakara spoke softly as he delivered words of wisdom. The audience listens intently.
This is important.
So now that the monks are walking to this side of the country and to share the message, to share with you the key of mindfulness so that all of us can unlock that box where you kept peace and happiness inside for a while.
The monks aren't the only ones people came to see. Aloka the peace dog was once a stray in India. The dog began walking with the group a few years ago, despite pain and illness. Aloka just had surgery on one of his legs, but is expected to rejoin the Walk for Peace.
If Aloka is like that, and all of us should continue to fight.
A retired FBI agent added to the Venerable's collection of law enforcement pins gathered during the walk.
Handmade flower.
Shelley Schaefer gave him a handmade flower made from the heart. This woman is grieving the loss of her son, who took his own life.
I lost my son 3 years ago. He's suicide. We're helping people so much in this month's court, and I really would appreciate it.
These personal interactions that you have with people along the way, they seem like they're very touching moments. How does that affect you?
When it's touching like that, I cried for a couple of times when seeing people welcoming us and greet, and they also cry. So it touched my heart a lot. Should we continue worshiping and promote loving kindness and compassion and peace so that it can spread and it can flourish throughout this world or not? Thank you so much.
The monks get their flowers as they leave town.
Thank you. Safe journeys.
One step at a time, one town at a time. The hope is that folks in the Carolinas and across the country walk with them in spirit.
It's a wonderful message of love.
In Saluda, South Carolina, John Lee, Queen City News.
And that's a story that is ongoing. That's happening in North Carolina. We got that story within the last week. If they're headed to Washington, D.C., they got some time yet out on that trail. And it's one that I didn't know was going on until I saw that story from our Charlotte, North Carolina station. So if you were like me and you had no idea there was a group of monks walking from Fort Worth, Texas, all the way to D.C. by way of North Carolina, and now you do. And now you can check out more information. By the way, any of these stories, part of the reason I named the station it comes from, if you're looking for more information, they probably have it on their local website. The next story is another one that might move you to take some action. It's coming from our station KARK in Little Rock, Arkansas, and it's about a group of women who were looking for a way to help those in need with something that most of us, it piles up in your closet. Hopefully you recycle it. Maybe it's in the trash, but they're turning it into something that can change someone's life.
This group of ladies meets every Monday and have been for almost 2 years, all coming together for one greater cause, to help those in need. Some people may think a mat made out of plastic bags wouldn't make a difference, but they provide critical protection.
And they're approximately this thick, and the benefit of that is that they're waterproof and insect-proof. And that way, when somebody is sleeping on concrete, it gives them a barrier.
Kathy Altum got the idea of turning plastic bags into homeless mats from a church in Texas a few years ago and decided to pitch the idea to her church in Batesville. But with just bare hands, the procedure was taking longer than she had hoped.
It took me at least 2 months to get one made. Because you're just sitting there, it's just one little stitch at a time.
But after the donation of a looming table, the operation is almost 3 times as fast. It's a full team process. It starts right here at the flattening table where the crumpled up bags are flattened out so that they can be cut and looped like this. And from there, they take it over to the looming table and finish a full 6x3 mat for the homeless. The church pastor Jim Freeman says the connectivity of the group is uplifting to watch.
This is a close-knit group, no pun intended, and they're having a good time doing it, fellowship and community building.
Altum agreed, mentioning the fellowship is incredible, but says this is about those in need.
You see kids at the library that are sleeping on the back porch of the library with nothing, or you see people living under the bridge or in a tent in the woods when it's 20 degrees outside. You have to do something.
The group gives the mats to organizations to distribute in Batesville, but also sends some to Little Rock when they have enough available. Due to a higher homeless population in Little Rock, very few get access to the mats. But the group shared one story about a woman who did get one.
Gal that got the first one that we sent with him was in a wheelchair, and she was just overcome with gratitude to have the mat that she could lay down on.
Yeah.
And for anyone looking to donate, you can contact the First Presbyterian Church here in Batesville. And one specific thing they're looking for, more colorful bags to help add some color into the mats. Reporting in Batesville, I'm Caden Michaels.
Cool local story. Again, one of those that you may not have ever seen if you weren't watching this show. We have got more of those types of stories when we come back. And welcome back. Talking about unique stories, this next one coming from our station in San Diego, KUSI. I'm sure, like me, like my kids, you have a book from the library, you're reading it, maybe you're not finished with it, you keep it a couple extra days, maybe you just forget about it, it's lost among all the other things in your house. What do you do when you find it a week later, a month later, a year later? What if it's been a few decades?
Last week, the La Mesa Branch Library got a delivery that was long overdue.
It was me, so I got to open it and enjoy the old book smell, which was quite powerful in this particular item. They sent it back to the right branch, even though we're at a new address, so they clearly did some research to get it back to us.
Branch manager Kasia says the book, The Incredible Journey, came in the mail anonymously with no return address. But there was a note reading, "Sorry, this is so late."
You know, it can be a little embarrassing when you forget to return your book. We don't want it to feel that way, but sometimes it does. So I'm not surprised someone snuck it in, but really no shame. We always are happy to take the book back.
The last due date listed was May 20th, 1980. Cold Wine couldn't wait to show the team.
The last time it was due back was before some of us were born. And, the way that the library worked is very different. Like this punch card is how we would have kept track of the item at the time.
And if you're wondering if it's racked up quite the late fee,
there'll be no late fines. If you leave it a little long at some point, we will say, hey, you might have to pay for this book if it's lost.
The Incredible Journey is a 1960s children's book about two dogs and a cat who travel 300 miles through the Canadian wilderness to find their owners. The book went on to inspire the 1993 movie Homeward Bound.
So this will likely maybe hang out on my shelf as a fun memento for a while, but we won't return it to the library collection.
While we don't know exactly how many miles this book has traveled, it's been homeward bound for more than 4 decades.
What would you say to the person who returned it and ultimately did the right thing, even if it took 46 years?
Absolutely. No, please come back to the library. If you're in town, please come say hi. Let us know that this was your item. We'd love to reminisce, hear what you thought about The Incredible Journey. Maybe you've since read some awesome books since then that you might like to share with us. But we really are always happy to talk to a book lover, as this person might have been. So yeah, come back in and say hi.
Kasia, Gregorczyk, Fox 5 News.
That's not a book I've read. I have seen that movie. That was one of my childhood favorites, Homeward Bound. So cool connection there. Can't say I've ever kept a book that long. Yeah. Anybody out there? 46 years? Anyway. For those regular watchers of this program, you've probably heard me comment on my appearance, my style from time to time. Wear glasses, not shave, too short of a haircut. Now it's looking real good. If I ever choose to incorporate a hat into my wardrobe, into my styling, this is the place that I'm going to go check out.
Hey, what's up, how you doing, Mr.
Some call it a Chicago rite of passage, coming through these doors.
Hey, help you.
To be styled by Bernard and Brown.
No, I got you. Let me show you. Go.
See, you don't come in here for a hat. You come for a transformation.
We call it HATTITUDE. So when you find something that makes you look good and feel good, you done hit a home run. Everybody want to hit a home run, don't they?
No, that's the fit.
Okay, go.
That's the fit.
Look how you walking. Look how you walking.
Every corner of this old shop has got something for your head.
This is called a cigarette roll. This is a long hair beaver. Now, this here is a wide brim Western. This is an open crown, right?
Hat after hat, color after color.
They just see you clear when you got colors there, because it bam.
But the real inventory, it is on the walls.
When I came in and I opened up, I put 30 hats on a credit card, and I had to hustle from there. See, but God is good. The next thing you know, we're thriving.
He shows me a video of his latest client.
I feel like I'm about to go to Paris. Go to a bar and meet the love of my life.
That's what hats do. Then it also make a boy feel like a man.
You don't leave this place unless your head's high and that cap's cocked just right.
Crack it real good. That means hit the eyebrow and the ear.
We all have sayings around here. All men are created equal until they get dressed. Look at that. See, that's killer there.
Bernard and Brown don't just sell hats, they sell self-respect.
Oh my God, it's a feeling come over you. You put the right one on, you'll know it.
Just break it on down. Break it on down, you know what I'm saying?
There's gratitude in serving up HATTITUDE and leaving Chicago streets looking a whole lot sharper.
My favorite part of that, I mean, the photos are really cool, but it's got to be that shirt. All men are created equal until they get dressed. That's some true HATTITUDE right there. And I needed to point out, in case you didn't see it in the graphic, that came from our station in Chicago, Illinois, WGN. Another story for you before we go to break. This one from our station in New York City, New York, WPIX. And it's coming from their senior political reporter. So expect a very, very serious story.
Happy National Bagel Day from inside Tompkins Square Bagels. Today, I am shedding my very serious senior political correspondent hat, and today I am just your resident PIX 11 bagel enthusiast. Let's dive in and find out what makes for a great New York bagel.
Happy National Bagel Day, sir.
It makes you feel like more of a New Yorker when you're having a bagel, especially on National Bagel Day.
Scallion cream cheese and tomato. Floating through the East Village shop, not unlike the sweet smell of freshly baked bagels, is Hillary Street.
Let us know how you like it.
She's the Tompkins Square Chief Bagel Operations Officer.
Bagels have really hit their stride more than it's like they're all over the place.
Brought to the United States by Polish Jews in the late 1800s, a traditional BAGEL, as it was called, is made from yeasted dough that's hand-rolled into a ring, briefly boiled in water, and then baked. All of this makes for the wonderful contrast of a slightly shiny, crispy crust and a dense interior that balances chewiness with a little bit of fluffiness. It's the perfect vehicle to hold endless combinations of seeds, schmears, and sandwich ingredients.
Crunchiness, the flavor, it makes it for a good breakfast or lunch or in between.
You like lox?
When we asked Street what goes into making a great New York bagel, she did not hesitate.
Our team is what makes it, because everybody makes bagels, everybody makes cream cheese, but I truly believe everybody in this store and all of our stores, it's all about the experience.
I started putting the money. And in the basement below the shop, Celly Garcia may be the beating heart of that team. How long have you been rolling for?
Almost 20 years.
With swift and seamless motions, Garcia pulls, twists, and rolls bagels with the hands of a true master. He proudly showed us around a walk-in refrigerator packed with the day's work. And that's about 2,700 bagels?
Yes, about, yes.
On busier weekend days, he rolls upwards of 4,000. About that size?
Yeah, okay.
Garcia was also kind enough to show me the basics.
How are you getting so much twist in there?
Like most New Yorkers, I proved much better at eating bagels. I feel like I'm getting worse somehow than rolling them.
Have a great day. Happy Bagel Day.
And you know I couldn't leave here without getting myself a bagel. If you've been following me on PIX 11 Plus and Pix11.com, you know I'm on the hunt for New York's best bagel. This is my standard order I've been reviewing on our new streaming show, a everything bagel with scallion cream cheese. Look at the beautiful seed coating there on the top and on the bottom. Let's go ahead and give this a bite. That is a truly excellent New York bagel. I'm Henry Rossoff, wishing you happy National Bagel Day.
Isn't it nice to see super serious political correspondents get into the feature fun of this job? I sure think so. Thank you, Henry, for that excellent report on bagels. And did you catch that guy can do up to 4,000 bagels twisting, rolling in a day when he's really cooking? Props to you, sir. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we have got a few more feature stories for you, including the animal one of the week involving a pet kangaroo. You heard right. See you in a minute. Yes, I said pet kangaroo right before we took that ad break. And before we get to that story, though, we're going to do a little bit of celebrating of veterans. The first one is a true celebration, a birthday. And for that story, we go to our station WFLA in Tampa, Florida.
He came back from lunch not expecting much. Instead, David Jones was surrounded by flags and patriotism as he was saluted by members of the Patriots Guard. And then he found himself surrounded by family and friends. Jones was a bit surprised.
Thank everybody for being here today. I never expected anything like this.
But he's a man who deserves the attention. As a teenager, he signed up to serve his country.
I enlisted in the Navy when I was 17. Otherwise, I'd be drafted.
He joined the Navy serving on an LCM and an LST landing craft. The LST, known officially as Landing Ship Tank, was known in the Navy as Large Slow Target. But somehow, Mr. Jones survived multiple landings on Omaha Beach on D-Day.
One of the worst days, I think, Omaha Beach.
Jones and his shipmates brought men and equipment to the beach that day in some of the heaviest fighting of the war. 2,400 men were killed, wounded, or lost just on D-Day, just on that one beach.
How did you make it through?
Well, I didn't know any better, so I was young. And when you're that age, you don't think about anything else but what you're doing.
But he did survive, eventually coming back to St. Petersburg and raising a family.
Happy birthday indeed. 101 years young, as people like to say. Listen, the story itself is an impressive one. His service, his age, the family, the way that they celebrated. We've got another kind of similar story. This one is about another veteran and family, but it all begins with an inexpensive purchase on a whim, and then the journey that follows.
Cheryl Buitrago was at a flea market with her then husband in Pahrump, Nevada. There they found a Navy belt buckle and purchased it for just 75 cents. On that buckle was a name engraved, Captain Roy P.G. Cheryl says as soon as she saw the name, she wanted to return the buckle to its owner.
My grandfather was in the World War II, and I have a picture of him too. This was my grandpa. He's sitting right here. So I've got these and those are the only things I have of my grandfather serving. So I think it was really important to get this back to him if he wanted it.
After posting in a Virginia Beach Facebook group, Cheryl was able to find Captain G's son, Roy G. Jr., or Skip, a Navy vet just like his father. I sat down with Skip to talk about his father, a dive bomber in the Pacific Theater during World War II who fought in the Battle of Midway. Skip says his father also flew in Korea as well as Vietnam.
So he served in 3 conflicts and retired in 1972.
For Skip, receiving his father's belt buckle is like gaining a piece of him back after his passing in 2009. He also says he's made a new connection in the process.
You know, it's a belt buckle, but it allowed me to share something with a person that lives in Nevada who I've never met. Well, it's kind of like a bottle that gets thrown into the ocean and with a message, and someone calls you 20 years later and say they found the bottle. It's kind of like that.
I think my favorite part of this whole thing that we're doing with the Good News Edition is the story part, right? That's what we do as journalists, is tell stories, even when it is hard news and it's making sure our democracy is being held to a high standard. It's still a story that we're telling. And so hearing something that personal is just so cool and so unique. So I'm glad that you could do that right along with me. We're going to end this show with one more story. This one's I hesitate to say it, but I'm going to do it. A hopping good time, because it has a good ending to it. It involves quite a bit of hopping. Yeah, it's the kangaroo. Check this out.
This wasn't your typical animal call for Somerville police. Officers responded after a pet kangaroo was reported on the loose in this residential neighborhood. Imagine sitting down at your kitchen table for an afternoon snack, only to notice something strange hopping through your backyard. The Somerville Police Department responding to a call of a pet kangaroo running loose in a neighborhood, and neighbors all joining in to help.
I'm on the phone with animal control. The neighbors are following it. When he was just hopping around, he hopped back in there, and then he ended up going into the pool.
They ended up using the pool cleaner to get it out of the pool. Once they were able to do that, put the leash on it. Once the leash was on it, that's when the animal control and the police showed up.
South Carolina is one of only 3 states allowing kangaroo ownership without specific permits. Dorchester County Animal Control explaining this animal escaped from her enclosure when someone doing work on the home left the door unlatched. Law enforcement and neighbors finally able to catch the animal and return it to its owner, a vet and animal rescuer who owns several other kangaroos. Dorchester County tells us they're all in good condition.
We were able to contact Dorchester County Animal Control, and they really assisted us and helped us in catching this animal and returning it back to the rightful owners.
In Somerville, I'm Hannah Baker. Count on 2.
And just to reiterate, nothing
This wasn't your typical animal.
Nothing nefarious there. They're allowed to have kangaroos in that state, in that municipality. There was a rescue worker. There was just work being done in the home. Other kangaroos, all in good shape. So again, at the end of the day here, positive story. And we got to see a kangaroo in a pool. That's what caught my attention when I first saw that story. I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen a kangaroo swimming before. And so in the show it went. There you have it. That's going to do it for another episode of Across America Good News Edition. We're keeping this thing going here in 2026. I thank you all for joining me for this one, and I'll see you on the next one.